Is this a curious case? Yes, let's talk about Nia Jax. Nia Jax, again, as I have been saying multiple times, has been one of the more successful re-signings in the Paul Levesque era. Since she has been re-signed, I think she's been entertaining. I actually think she has stepped up on some of her wrestling. She still, promo wise, can use some work, but for the most part, she's been entertaining. She's been the highlight of a lot of SmackDown shows. If they allow her to wrestle some more, I think she would probably do a lot better in the ring. But War Games took place, and yes, I blame Nia for the beginning of that match for the ladies looking a damn mess. Okay, maybe she didn't want to hit the girls too hard. Maybe she was being, a little antsy in the ring, and that's fine. But we can move on from that and move forward. Now, the way she's been being handled on the internet is rough, but I expect that from majority of the men. Okay, I didn't forget Nia Jax was an anti-vaxxer and she was deep into the woods with the indoctrination and the QAnon. I ain't forget none of that. I also think she probably voted for Trump. And you know what? A majority of wrestlers probably have too. As long as it wasn't Bianca Belair, Naomi, or Jade Cargill. And the Street Profits. And amongst others. But anyway, that doesn't mean that you have to run this woman down to the point where she feels like shit. Now, we have to be careful because we've had wrestlers commit suicide because of the bullying. There was a Japanese wrestler, I forget her name, who did commit suicide. And I believe Mercedes Moné paid tribute to her because people bullied the fuck out this woman. Okay, we don't want to do that. At the end of the day, it's a job. It's wrestling, and you give your best, and you do your best. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. Nia, since signing back, has had more good days than bad. And that's okay. But Jonathan Coachman, he has a podcast with the King of Bros, Vince Russo. And it's called the Coach and Bro Podcast. And Jonathan decided he was going to go all the way to fuck in on Nia Jax. And I've come to the conclusion that there is some personal feelings that Jonathan Coachman has towards Nia Jax. And here it is. While speaking on Behind the Turnbuckle, the Last Word podcast, Jonathan Coachman alleged, that Nia Jax advocated against him and pushed Renee Paquette to replace him on the announce team. Coachman says she hates me, by the way. Years ago, and this shows how crazy it was at the time, when I left ESPN and came back, I told Vince I've got 4 golf events that I'm already have on my schedule. I didn't want to miss. In my first 10 years in WWE, I missed 1 Monday Night Raw. So now I come back 10 years later and tell Vince I'm missing 4 events in that calendar year. He goes on and says, how do you think that went over? Vince said, no problem, coach, we got you. Well, he had me until the second missed event. And he's like, this is some bullshit. And I was like, I told you. So they started filling in. And I remember they put Renee in my spot. Nobody liked the fact that they brought me back. They were whatever, for whatever reason. I'm not going to use the word jealous. It is what it is. But Nia Jax led the charge of Renee in coach's spot. She didn't like me for whatever reason. I had no issues with Renee. I think Renee is terrific. Well, it sounds like someone's chatty Cathy. And because they're so chatty Cathy, they end up getting put out on their ass. Now, we can speculate, is it because she's The Rock's cousin? I don't know, because she got fired. She got fired being The Rock's cousin. So I don't think The Rock got the pull that we all think he got. Now, we could talk about Ava over in NXT another time, because that's some pull going on over there. So then we fast forward to the Coach and Bro show, where Coachman just let it all hang out, baby. Okay, so how does this start? So basically, they were talking about War Games, right? And King of Bros, Vince Russo, he was like, you got to protect your wrestlers. There was no reason to put Nia in first. Now, I do agree with that. I think we all agree that Nia should not have been in the match first because she's more of a big body woman. She's more of a cleaner. You put her in the end, she do her big spots. If you're going to whoop her ass, whoop her ass. But the fact that they put her in first, they wore her out, and she was visibly winded and tired. That was a valid critique from Russo. Then the response from Coachman was, well, I just think she is sucky ass wrestler, and you're not supposed to critique the women because she's The Rock's cousin. Like, what? Then it became this whole rant that was steeped in bullshit. These women want to be treated like men. They want to be criticized. Well, no, they don't want to be criticized, because if you criticize them, then you're being sexist and you're being hateful and you're talking about their bodies and stuff. When did the women tell you not to criticize them? You could say someone had a bad day or they sucked. Example, Alexa Bliss had an issue with Catman. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where he was critiquing her wrestling and turned it into, oh, well, she probably a terrible fuck. Like, that's not critiquing. That's being crass and disrespectful, to the where Alexa Bliss had to come out and say, listen, you don't have to like me, you don't have to like my wrestling, but don't fucking disrespect me as a woman. And he had to go back and apologize. And this is where Coachman is moving into. He claims that the women are talking to both sides of their mouth. You can't say nothing about us, but we want to be treated the same. No, you can critique the women, but it does not have to turn into how their bodies look, whether they're fuckable or not. Bayley has not had a good run, and I'm saying that, and I think she knows that. Bayley didn't have a good run as champion. In the discussion, I can tell you why. Not a lot of matches. The story kind of ran out, lost steam after she got the title from Nia and Io Sky. Okay, she didn't really wrestle too much. Not a lot of the wrestlers wrestle anyway when they become champions. That's critiquing. But now you're running after somebody's character and credibility, and it says a lot about you, Coachman. And I'm kind of seeing why Nia Jax don't like your ass. Or apparently, more than just Nia Jax don't like your ass. You're the one that's confused about it. Another false claim, he said this is the first time he got on Twitter, which is a cesspool in itself. Go over to Blue Sky. No, I'm not being paid, but that's where we're all going, because Twitter, we got to get off of there. Anyway, he says this is the first time that he went on Twitter and saw that the women were being treated like the men. They were getting critiqued and getting shitted on. I'm sorry, is Jonathan Coachman not on the internet, or is he a fucking liar? Because every time a woman ain't doing what she's supposed to do, that Twitter turns into a fucking wolf pack mentality, and they will run them women down into the ground. They don't give a fuck. I don't remember a time where a woman was not completely disrespected by the internet wrestling community. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to equality. Yes, women want to get paid for the same job that men do. Why is that a problem for men? It's becoming really manosphere over here with this bullshit, like you equal rights, equal fights. Women want equal rights don't mean we want to get knocked out the same. Y'all thought that's what that meant? No, we want to support our families and ourselves the same way men do. But now Jonathan Coachman is being disingenuous, and I don't like that. Let's continue. So now he's talking about, I gotta be in better shape. I gotta be this, that, and the third. Nia is in better shape. Nia has lost a significant amount of weight. Number one. Nia is even dressing better than the way she was when she first got there. You can see Nia's self-esteem is even higher than her first run on the main roster, where she was getting slammed. Did we forget? She is known to not take care of the people that's in the ring with her. That was a whole storyline from fucking Bayley. What is this man talking about? Like, he has a vendetta. He has a vendetta against Nia, and he's taking the time to kick this woman in her cooch while she's down, and that's fucked up. Now, he claims Liv Morgan's the MVP of this year. Now, I actually did a podcast, if I didn't put it out already. I did put Liv Morgan as the MVP of this year, not because this bitch looked good. It's because she's taking this opportunity and running with it. She's trying to redeem herself from that terrible championship run with Ronda Rousey. Do I like what Liv Morgan's doing right now? No. Do I like that she's really just like pussy in the middle of a feud? No, I don't. That's how she's always booked. Let's not forget, Liv Morgan was in a whole situation with Bobby Lashley and Lana that had absolutely nothing to do with the cuckold that started in that whole thing. I might have to do a podcast on that because that was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, he's comparing Liv Morgan to Nia Jax. Nia Jax got fired, came back, exploded. Liv Morgan has not been fired, got arrested, and then they put the title on her, and now she's barely wrestling. She's not really doing nothing. Now we stuck in this vortex. So I think that's apples and oranges that Coachman is trying to compare here. Now we get to the brass tacks. He said, oh, well, what does Nia Jax do? They gave Liv Morgan the ball when Rhea Ripley was out, and she ran with it. What has Nia Jax done on SmackDown? Nothing. And that's because Nia Jax, she's always got something to say about other people. She has something to say about me in 2018 when I had to leave and come back and Renee ended up taking my spot. 2018? What is that, like 5 years ago? Really, Coach? He claims that he was fine with it after Renee got his spot taken, and that's not why he's mad at her or he's critiquing her. You're a fucking liar. Like, oh, I'm not feeling that any kind of way now. All I'm saying is if you're just that vocal then you gotta face the piper now. She's been facing it. You know, it says a lot if I'm defending Nia Jax against this guy, because he's wrong for going in on her the way he's going in on her. It's not that fucking serious. This guy is holding on to a grudge that is going on like 5-6 years. You lost the spot. Renee got the spot. Renee is actually did a fantastic job that I didn't even realize that was your spot. And didn't nobody like your ass anyway. So was it really Nia Jax, or you just don't like the woman? Maybe you're attracted to her. Because it's giving, I'm turned on by her, but the bitch don't want me. It's giving them vibes. Child, he is going in. He said there is no universe in which this woman should be on SmackDown, the face of SmackDown. She ain't a good actress. She shouldn't be doing no kind of skits or nothing. This man wants her off TV and gone, okay?
With Roman Reigns, where she's the last one to come in. Everybody's laid out, and then she comes in and does what she does best.
Now, I played that little snippet. Hopefully that's not an issue, but everybody agrees that she should not have been the first person to open War Games. That was an error on whoever booked the match or choreographed the match. But all this other shit that Coachman is saying is absolutely ridiculous, has nothing to do with nothing, and is not critiquing. You mad because that woman got your ass up out of there. Point blank and the period. It's bad when Vince Russo's like, okay, bro, I can't let you sit here and just run her down, bro. We got to talk about the positive, bro. And he started talking about her hair. Her hair was fantastic. It was huge. She like a big lion. Loved it. For all of Nia's faults, Nia does her job to best of her ability with what they gave her. She has been entertaining for 2024 since she's came back, okay? And Coachman, again, he's still upset that the woman got his ass up out of there, so he gonna run her down more than necessary. And it's obvious. If y'all want to hear this podcast, I'll actually put the link in the description if you made it this far. At the end of the day, I think it's really disrespectful. I think he's lying. I think he's being disingenuous. I think he needs to shut the fuck up. Okay? You didn't look good in this particular podcast episode, and it's not going to look good, and you ain't going back to WWE, and don't nobody want no chatty Cathy ass, pussy ass man in their locker room or floating around the locker room who's going to get mad if you rub them the wrong way. Don't nobody want to deal with that shit. Now, this is what really my ass started itching. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and log off here. Vince Russo's going on and on about how fantastic Nia's hair was. And he said he didn't know nothing about extensions, which I think is a fucking lie. Because white women wear extensions. I don't know why everybody thinks black women and women of color, only people that wear extensions. White women wear them. Did y'all not see Tiffany Stratton or fucking Alexa Bliss? Like, they wear extensions, okay? This is what Coachman says. He says, and I have a black sister, and part of it's real and part of it's not real. We know you probably have black family. Is he biracial? Like, what the fuck? What a weirdo. Even after that, I had a sister's her hair. She wears, everybody in wrestling wears fucking extensions. Like, Liv Morgan, the MVP, her whole head is extensions. Like, the fuck? What a weirdo. Then you thought he stopped? Nope. He went right back in, punching Nia in the coochie, right in the corner. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, she was super gassed, and she's fat, and she was in the corner just dying, and it was just awful, and it was terrible to look at. She's such a loser and a lazy bitch. And he had to step it up, and he gonna say he don't think this group of women is skilled enough to make 45 minutes of War Games interesting. Bitch, those women literally make War Games every time War Games was on. I don't know what he's talking about. Yes, the beginning of the match was janky. Yes, the wait 5 minutes for somebody to get called in, they need to shrink that. But Bianca got in the match, that's when the shit picked up. Because Bayley and Nia don't have good chemistry. We saw that with the match at the other pay-per-view when Nia took the belt off of Bayley. When Bianca got in the match, when Tiffany Stratton got in the match, when Io Sky got in the match, and Candice LeRae got in the match. And the other side of the team, when Rhea Ripley got in the match. Everybody played their part. Yes, the first half, the first 10, 15 minutes sucked. We get that. But don't diminish what the women got going on because you got a chip on your shoulder with fucking Nia Jax. That's some bullshit. Then we go back into the whole, let me break the news, ladies. Bro, you're not men. The women know that they're not men. The women know that they're women. You all remind them that they're fucking women every time they go into the ring. Hence why you wanted Raw to be fucking rated X or rated R when it gets to Netflix. Because apparently you want to see some dicks or you want to see some tits and ass. I think this was very disrespectful. And it's crazy because I wrote that under their YouTube video because they got a lot of thumbs down on this episode. And you know what they did? They deleted the shit off of their YouTube and you got to go listen to it on a Spotify because that was absolutely fucking disrespectful. No woman is sitting here saying they want to be a man. We are well aware that we got a cooch and some titties between our legs and all of the things because y'all remind us. What women want to do is go out there and put a show on and give girls something to look up to. That is it. I told them, how dare you sit up there and make these awful ass comments about these women. Especially Vince Russo. Because your motherfucking ass was making all them women do all kinds of terrible shit while little girls and little boys was watching that. Okay? You don't have no moral high ground to talk about what women need to be doing. These women worked hard to get where they're at. Yes, the match was clunky. It fucking happens. Because guess what? If you go through War Games, it was only 2 good matches that was on there. But guess who got most of the flack? The women. So don't be doing that type of shit. That's terrible. The way they was talking about these women on this episode. And they knew it was terrible. That's why they took the goddamn episode off of YouTube. Overall, it was very disgusting to listen to and very disheartening that these men are comfortable to say this type of shit on the internet. But they're not comfortable enough to leave that shit up on YouTube because it got slammed and they took it down. So, I don't know if this is a rant or me just, thoroughly disgusted, but fuck Jonathan Coachman. Vince Russo is Vince Russo. He's a jackass regardless. He gives you content and you keep it pushing. But he's all over the place because the same time he's dogging women out talking about you're not men, he's going on and on and on about how women can give birth and men can't. And you singing their praises. All y'all care about is fucking. Okay? You made that clear. That's where a majority of society has moved to. Wrestling does a good job to mirror society. When you want Raw to be rated R because you turned on and you ain't getting no pussy, you just want to see it somewhere. When you watch Jada Parker and what's her name? Lola Vice have a match and them women are working hard, all you can say is, yeah, I was bricked up the whole time. That's the type of men, this is the type of audience that the ladies have to try to entertain. But they're not there for the men to be entertained. They're there for the girls, for the ladies, and for the children. We want to see it. And the respectful men that will be respectful of the craft for everybody. I'm gonna leave it right here. If y'all made this far, great. If not, cool too. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description box. Hopefully I don't forget. Alright, y'all. Deuces.